placed it. If you look from the top, Tommy, it don't look like we got much room, man.
No, it does not.
So, with the stock core support,
gotta go, cut it out.
Yeah, it's gotta go. Like, it's just touching right across there. It's crazy because we pushed the engine back so much further than we did normally in like an S chassis. So,
yeah, but look, I mean, you think about LS and a stock Z, like, you've got a real tight 90-degree boot just for an air filter tube coming off the intake. We've got a huge amount of space. I think this motor's gone back at least 4 or 5 inches.
right.
Molten kit. That's about all we can
do. Yeah. But having said that, we're not keeping this. Yeah. So, and unlike the S chassis where we had to leave this front bar going across the front because of the location of the it's actually a suspension pickup point because of the
yeah, legally you can't cut anything behind that.
Right. So, like, let me just to make an example. Let's go check out Kevin's car right here. So, granted, we got tubes in the front of Kevin's car. We still had to keep this bar across here because it.
I think technically you don't. I believe you can actually cut these all the way back to here.
Oh, really?
It's the frontmost suspension mount, which would be this control arm.
Okay, so this doesn't count as that then?
No.
I have seen people tube that, but you still have to mount this tension rod brace somehow. And you're not going to be able to just come straight down from that point.
Still, honestly, even if you cut this and stuff, try and make this in something.
Right, so it's still going to be, no matter if you put a piece of tube there, or a bar there, or something, you're going to be within that point. Especially if you want to reuse that. But with the Z, we don't have to have that down there.
You could actually, if you wanted to, you could cut it all the way back to the subframe. Like, you could cut way back.
So that actually really helps us because it gives us room to push this turbo forward. And we won't only have to pick up a point right here. So while we got this here just to see the confinements of where the stock stuff is, you still got a bumper. Obviously we're not going to be sticking this turbo out of the front.
No, but I mean, you still got to keep the intercooler behind the bumper, behind the bash bar. There's still a lot of stuff to go in here. Oil cooler, power steering cooler, intercooler.
So what would be your process? Well, my thinking is I should try to figure out how far I will place the intercooler and then have the bumper curve to see how far it actually sits in there, while also allowing for enough of the bar in the front to clear the intercooler, because you want to protect that.
Yeah, really, I say get the front bumper cover on it without the stock bumper in it, without the aluminum bumper that gets across it, and see how much room we have to push everything into the bumper a little bit. You don't want everything in the bumper, obviously, because if it takes a hit, it's going to get destroyed, but we have to go into it a little bit as well.
Do you have a suggested amount of room between the front bar and the intercooler for allowing for crushing, or is it could be right on it because
Really.
Oh really? And
if it's touching, it's going to get hit. If it's an inch away, it's going to get hit.
so yeah, unfortunately we just based on how much space you have is how you need to work it, because obviously we can't have that turbine housing sitting that close to the crank pulley. And I remember it being not too far away on all the other setups we had, because I remember I couldn't fit the belt flat way in here. I always had to like twist the belt to the side and push it down between the turbo. It was that close on the last setups, and I'm trying to avoid that. It was a nightmare. So if the belt ever came off when it was hot, it was like, oh man. We had these long sleeves, these Kevlar sleeves that ran up each one of our arms to make sure that we were able to do that. Especially because it was all heat wrapped and all that fiberglass with just itchy forearms, man. But gotta get an intercooler on, gotta get the bumper, figure out the front bar. Let's work our way backwards, I guess, from there. Give the most room we can, because we still gotta fit coolers for oil, cooler for power steering. There's gonna be so many lines just everywhere. So
20
Yeah.
Big 16, 10, 12 oil line.
Yeah, it's gonna be a nightmare. But what's great is in the past we've just mounted the turbo and then tried to figure out all this stuff afterwards, and it just became such a hassle to where we were like, oh man, if we had just moved it a 1/4 inch off to the right, we could have been able to fit this line through. And I'm thinking that we're trying to stay ahead of it a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I've had this engine in 8 different locations. I've moved it forward a 1/4 inch, backwards 3/8 of an inch, and find, oh, there's a fitting that doesn't quite clear here. Move it back where it was a little bit, and this fitting doesn't clear over here. Move it a little bit again.
Actually, having said that,
everything lived together, I guess.
We originally had a different configuration of this dry sump, and then we moved some of the fittings around to once we switched the engine forward, just so that we can get the fitting in a different location for the oil pickup for the turbo. So it definitely.
You don't know what you need until you start putting everything together and find out that this part could have been replaced with something that would work better. So Daly was nice enough to swap those parts out.
Yeah. It's pretty sweet. Super. And they didn't actually charge us to swap it? No. Daly, shout out. They came in clutch. 1 day turnaround too. Just sent it to them, flipped it, put it on, no charge, sent it right back to us. Awesome guys over there. And so we're waiting on Brandon to give us his, out of Brandon's 350Z. His is already hacked up from when he got the car, so we're gonna switch this out because we're gonna just start hacking away at this, start chopping these areas out, just mount the headlights and see as much clearance as we can get. And his is all hacked up already, so I don't want to cut this perfectly good one up when we could just give it to him and then we could put his in and then start hacking it away. So I really thought that was gonna get way more room than that.
Looking at how far back the engine was, you kind of just thought it has to be in the
No.
road.
Wrong. That is
Big old turbo.
It's a big boys. Well, man, what next? Just get that bumper on. I think I'm just gonna try to get the bumper on, actually get a measurement, see how far it is. All right, let me go do that. Okay, so now that I got the bumper mounted, kind of, I put the intercooler in. It's just the core with the end tanks pre-done. Looks cool in there. And as you can see, it's quite a good amount of room, not tons by any means, where we can remove all that from the bottom and get that turbocharger just a little bit more forward away from the crank pulley, but it's still going to be very tight. It's not a ton. I don't have it tucked all the way forward. You see there's still probably a good all this can come out of the bumper. It doesn't necessarily have to be here. But all that can come out, but then it's just a matter of, as we were talking about, up here, how much room do we really have to run a front bash bar in front of it, and what is a good amount of clearance between the front bash bar and the intercooler. So you want as much as you can, as Tommy was saying, but you also want to be able to fit your turbocharger in there. So it's with the power rating, we can't go with a much thinner core, or this is where you get into the whole air to air, water to air, like what would be the best way, because an air to air is going to be more efficient when you can actually get air to it. And you can use a water to air in certain areas where you can't get air to your intercooler and you got space constraints. So we could put a water to air intercooler anywhere, but then you still have to have a heat exchanger up in the front, but they're nowhere near as big as a front mount intercooler. This car actually already had the whole system where we had the tank mounted up here. The heat exchanger was all the way in the front, and it was for the supercharger that was on here, but it adds another point of tank, lines, fittings, more in the engine bay that we barely could fit before, and we don't really want to do that. I think this will be sufficient, still having this here, but getting it more forward, it's gonna be tight. It really is. We're not running 1-inch tubing. If we had 1-inch tubing in there, you could push that thing all the way underneath there. You wouldn't even see it. I mean, you still have the space of the lip also, so you know you've got a solid distance between the. Let's see how much that actually is. Let me go grab a tape measure. As you can see, we're about 9 inches from the core right now to the front of the bumper, but if this was gone, you could fit, as you can see, from the height, our 1.5 inch tubing in there. So we could probably bring it all the way out here and move this core forward, but that's not that far from the top actually. Maybe we could put it at a slight incline, tilt the intercooler forward, and then you've only got 3 inches, 4 inches to the front of it here. Oops. How was hibachi, guys? Kevin, be nice. Devin? Hey, that's better. So yeah, a little faceful intercooler. These are things you got to think about, and hopefully it fits and we get some room. I was really hoping for a lot more room, but hey, it happens. What was that, Kevin? You get me vlogging? Oh my god, are you gonna post me? Can you tag me? I'm gonna be famous. Alright, somebody stole your fender, Kevin. Is Devin fixing it? Devin, are you gonna fix it?
No, that's your job.
You're gonna do the fiberglass? What needs to be repaired? Oh, I see. Are these the holes you need me to patch up right here? Got 2 big holes right here. This is what cracked? Is that what he's crying about? Oh my god, I'm an FD driver and I had this little crack.
Rip.
That it? Seriously? Oh. I can fix that.
That's the easy one.
Oh, what's the other one look like?
Right there before.
Oh.
It's the arch of the rim.
Oh. Alright, looks like I'm gonna get itchy.
And this.
That can wait, right? You got new bumpers. Nah, man. What are all those for? What are those?
They won't fit. They're defect.
I think he's lying. I don't think 2F has defective parts, bro. They are all made in the US.
They're not defects.
What are they? I don't think so. Does anybody even... You can't knock off quality, man. Those things are tight. Yeah, these 2F bumpers are sick. They fit so good. Peel it! Peel it off! Kevin, I noticed you put a sneak peek of your car up on the Instagram. That wasn't you? Kevin, be nice. There he goes, Kevin saying hi again. Or it means bye also. It's like aloha. Kevin, can you tell anybody what color your car is going to be, or give them any more clues? I noticed you posted in black and white.
Red or fuck you?
Oh, what do you think about that, Devoyne? You like red? That's a yes face. Just like how Kevin's highs are very unique, Devin's yes, I enjoy it face is also very unique.
Yeah, I love it.
Let's go talk to David. This is our resident British man. He's also the resident old man. David.
I don't want to be on film.
You're not. You're on camera. Oh yeah, this is the new CNC that we haven't actually cut anything with yet because we're just trying it out. We don't destroy any tools. So David's got the fountain time schedule. Somebody gladly put on here whenever we're gonna have the fountain show. Oh, here it is. It's so beautiful. Did you orchestrate this yourself?
Yes, I'll bring a speaker tomorrow so we can have some music.
Yeah, sorry right now, showtimes don't have music, but...
Might play the British national anthem.
Nah, David, we in America, man.
No, we are.
It's so great, but I can only give you a sneak peek. $20 a ticket if you want to see this Bridgeport Bellagio.